Yes, people, welcome to Never a Foul. Big up if you just joined over from Saeed TV. Rhino should be here at some point, including Jay, and we're going to just be doing a bit of a debate. We're talking about how Olise he will transform Chelsea, and it's not allowed to happen on Man United's watch. Otherwise, it's a big L. It's an L. 100% an L. I don't give a damn what anyone tells me. It's a fat L, bruv. Yeah. Looking like heaven from EastEnders, that type of L. Yeah. And we've got Mbeumo, typical brilliant Liverpool signing. Again, another flipping transfer that will just get my head hot. My head will be sent on Mars if they go and get someone like him. And they're also looking at Kudus, which I can't see. But, Michael Edwards striking yet again. And then obviously we got Sesko. Is he the answer for Arsenal? I know Saeed saw it a bit earlier. So I can't lie. I took that from him. Because you know what? It was a good debate. And I thought, why not get two Arsenal fans and probably two rival fans to absolutely debate that up, and let's see where the saltiness gets to. But big up yourselves, joined by Deo. If you don't know Deo, Mr. Deo is here in the top right corner. He actually scored a bicycle kick and hurt his nerve. You know what it is? And also, we got Mr. Hooks here. He looks mad young, but he's an old man. But trust me, I call him halfway crooks, not halfway hooks. And then Mr. J should be here very soon. And if you know Rhino, you know Rhino. So yeah, man, let's get this as well. Make sure you smash the like button on the way in. Much appreciated. All right, this is what I'm saying, Blue Lion. And Mbeumo is 24. Like, is it another Marnie? Because Marnie looked like he would. Remember when he was 24? My man was looking 30 years old, you know. His hairline was so far back. You think it was retreating back to World War II. It's mad. But yeah, man, what you guys saying, man? There's a little bit of a nice discussion to go forward. Hopefully, the transfer window picks up as well, man, because we're starving. We're not even got the origin. We're starving.
Yeah, we're starving. And I swear to God, if I see Olise kicking ball for Chelsea next year, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to absolutely lose my mind. Because the team that should be signing Olise, yeah, is Arsenal, bro. Like, he's like the perfect rotation option, challenge Saka option out there in the world. And what? We're just going to let him go to these blue idiots in South London. Nah, man. These man got to stop buying up all the players that everybody else wants, man. And these man got to stop sacrificing their careers as well. Yo, Olise, yeah. I don't know if you're watching, yeah. Don't do it.
I don't know, yeah, but let's start with this Olise stuff and Man United, because apparently it's out of Man United and Chelsea for his choice and stuff like this. I know his brother's in Cobham. You know, apparently he's not even that good at football, anyways. Not like that. Not hitting the heights. You never know. But this absolute I was going to call him Bordiola, called Maresca, yeah. I call him Enzo Molester because he got a bunch of kids at his disposal. But the way he likes to play is quite like Ten Hag, right? He likes two attacking eights, if you don't know. The difference is he likes an in-behind type of striker, not a target man. You know, he likes his wingers touch wide, and he likes to invert a fullback. And he likes a DM to build, and the way he builds up is a little bit different as well, to be fair. But, you know, they got the DM slot. They actually got the players to probably execute something like this. And this is why it's not allowed to happen. Because if Cole Palmer goes into one of them attacking 8 positions and they got Olise hanging off the right, my head will be on Mars. And you know it will work. You know there's going to be to the point where Chelsea spend that much money and get something right eventually, to the point. We can't ignore that in the 2024, Chelsea were getting better, and better, right? So on that notice, if they do get Olise, how do you actually feel? Now, on an actual context level, how do you think it would work out? Because it's just not allowed to happen, man.
If they get Olise, it's but it's Enzo Macaroni I don't, you know.
Who?
And their new coach, Macaroni, Maresco, Masachino, what's his name? Mascherano. I don't know the guy's name. I think it. I know it's Maresca, and I know it's Maresca. I'm just messing around. But here's my thing, that dude, if you go back and watch Leicester games, right? They conceded a lot of goals, man, with the way they build up. If he brings that to Chelsea, yo, I mean, yeah, fine. Olise will cook, and all these guys can cook. The attack would work and all that. But the amount of goals that they're going to concede if they play the way he plays, and this Chelsea team that is already dysfunctional, and I still say they're still dysfunctional, because what they have is a bunch of kids that they need to put together, which will take at least another season. And now you brought in a young coach, which I think is a great idea sometimes, but yeah, I don't know, man.
They will cook. They will cook. They will super cook. Like, look,
we also have to look at injury records, though. Someone like Olise, who half the season most times is out. You know, even at Crystal Palace, literally he played the first few games and was out again up until the second half of the season. And so him and Eze. So it's for me, it's like, yeah, they will cook. I think that they will work if they get the right manager. Is Maresca the right manager? I don't know. They
want to do that. They want to do the Arsenal thing, innit? Yeah, man want to do the Arteta thing, man. This is what they're trying to do, man. This is what Chelsea keep on talking about, the Arsenal project, man. This is what they're trying. So they will cook.
Well, yeah. I know they will cook. I'm just like, is he the right guy to make them cook? I mean, of course, he's got a little bit of experience, way more experience than Arteta when he joined Arsenal. So I can't even knock him for that. You see what I'm saying? Like, the dude has experience, way more than Arteta's experience when he joined us. So will he cook? Like, for me, there's just some dysfunction going on at Chelsea that I see. And I like just the way the club is being run. There's just some type of dysfunction going on there that I don't know.
Yeah, I just think it's one of them things. Back in the day, if anyone knows about GTA, like 4 GTA Vice City, there used to be these cheat codes. Yeah, you used to do L2, R2, R1, RB, left down, right up, and you get unlimited ammo, all weapons, all of that stuff and whatnot. This is how I feel Chelsea are headed at this moment in time. They're taking in so much talent. It's crazy. People tend to forget they got that Kendrick Payet who's meant to be one of them world beaters. Like, he's doing mad stuff. I think he's at like 16 years old, and they will just bring that Estavo guy as well, whatever his name is. They at some point it will probably click at Chelsea, and it looks like Joe Shields is doing a carry job over there, because he just keeps recommending talent after talent after talent. And you know what?
Yeah,
it's going to get to that point where, wow, like, this baller can play with that baller. Before you know it, Jackson ain't getting laughed at as much no more. Enzo Fernandez, let's not even get started. Like, he don't matter even if he's £100 million signing. His position is under threat as well. It's not like Olise can't play in the middle, let alone Cole Palmer. People forget they got options like Nkunku. They still got Caicedo. They still got Lavia to come back. No,
they've got ballers. They've got ballers on the team.
They got to have options. That's the thing. They got options.
That's always a good and bad thing. I would prefer to have options like they do. That's the honest truth. It's better to have more options, and you're right. They have options, but it's a good and bad thing for a manager the size of Chelsea as a club, who has not managed at that level before. Of course, I'm not saying that he's going to fail. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, coming in, taking the reins at Chelsea with everything they've been through in the last 2 years, having all these many options and trying to figure out which one works will take a while. It's not like he's going to come in on the first game. It's going to be like, all right, I got the right click, boom, and it's going to work. When it starts working, forget it. They're going to cook. But the thing is, how long are they willing to give him to get it right? Because if he has something similar that happened to Poch happen to him this coming season, where he has a lot of injuries. Where he has a lot of injuries, and those players are out for half the season or 3/4 of the season, and he's not able to, cook the way he wants to cook. Will Chelsea give him the time? To say, you know what, here, that's all I'm, I mean, they have the talent. It's undeniable.
100%. I'm in total agreement. By the way, guys, there's 230 of you in here. Please smash the like button as quick as possible. Just the less I ask this, the better, in my opinion, and it doesn't annoy the people like you guys in the chat as well. And just make sure, if you do that nice and early, run them up. And also, if you're new, do subscribe. Don't forget, there'll be a lot more content to come, and we're just trying to keep everyone entertained as much as possible. Debates and quick updates about transfers and stuff like that. But do smash them likes. But yeah, man, look, the thing is, he's got a longer contract this time. Like, if we're gonna take this on a tangent away from Olise a bit and talk a little bit about Maresca and Chelsea, it's that they have given him a 5-year contract plus one option as well. So they are kind of keen. This is probably the manager.
They gave Potter a long contract as well, and eventually, So for me, it's not about the long contract. Are they willing to give him the time? Because that's the one thing.
They have to. They're giving like hooks. They're giving this man the keys at the end of the day. So they must trust this guy a lot. Yeah. And to be fair, this is why I say Chelsea fans are in a win-win situation, and one of them situations is not nice in terms of, right, let's get down to this, right? If it succeeds, you're buzzing. Obviously, as a Chelsea fan, you're buzzing. You're backing the board and all that. But if the thing is, if they don't succeed, then there's another, downfall of another manager in no time, then we'll see Chelsea fan base unite. Do you know what I mean? Like they will be all as one because they've had enough of this shit already. Like this is Chelsea Football Club at the end of the day. And you know what's funny about this as well? I would say, like, please, like, add your opinion with it. Is you know what I saw today that they're not planning for Osimhen. Do you know how nuts that sounds to me? Like they're not planning for Osimhen. Like,
I think didn't
early days though.
Yeah, didn't they want to do something like a like money and swap with Lukaku? And I heard that the negotiations just didn't go through. So, but Osimhen, I don't know why he would want to go. This is what I mean. I don't know how Chelsea keep on doing it. Yeah, why are these players sacrificing their careers to Chelsea, bro? Like, can we stop doing this? Like, go somewhere else, man. I've had enough of Chelsea taking all these players. On the Enzo Maresca point, I think the Chelsea fans just need to accept, that they're actually trying to do this projecting. Like the fact that their man at the top have quoted like Arteta and what he's done at Arsenal, and they want to try and recreate the same thing. It to me just shows that they're gonna give this manager time. So the fans give them time. Because don't get me wrong, in the first 2 years, barring the FA Cup, the first 2 years of Arteta, I was vexed. I was vexed, man. Like, why is Arsenal finishing 8th? Bro, that's mad. Like, 8th is the lowest that I've seen Arsenal finish with my eyes, innit? Like, and I'm an old man, innit? So for them to finish 8th, I was vexed. I got trolled by Bear, man, vexed. And then we finished 5th, we bottled top 4 to Tottenham, which is the worst thing on the final. The worst thing, because then I had all Tottenham fans chatting shit to me all summer. I was vexed. But then the next 2 seasons, cooking. Arsenal been cooking. I say good things come to those who wait. So obviously,
I mean, you've been waiting for like 20 years, but go on.
No. But Hooks. Let me add something to what you just said. Right. One of the things that you notice if you watched the Arsenal documentary. Though the period where we weren't playing well at that very beginning when we were during that documentary, and Arteta was sitting down and holding his head, just thinking about it. He was like, stuff is not going right. And Josh Kroenke made a statement in that documentary. He says, "This is where we back you up."
Yeah, man.
Like this is what the Chelsea board have to do now. Maresca will cook. He may not cook in this season.
I think he will.
No. He will cook, but he will not cook this season. I guarantee you, he will cook. What I'm saying is like he's going to eventually figure out what formula works. But they have to back this guy up as regards to with time. They shouldn't do what they've done with Poch, where it becomes a case of just imagine. Let's best scenario. Let's imagine best scenario. Best scenario. Nobody gets injured in the Chelsea team. All the players are cooking. They blend. Boom. Everybody will be happy. Worst scenario. A bunch of injuries. He's not able to play the way he wants to play because of all these injuries. By the time they come back again and everything is back and forth, and he's taking like a whole half season, to figure out the players. Then in the second half of the season, he picks up, and then at the end of the season, he doesn't make top 4, doesn't win the trophy, and then the fans get upset, and then the owners are like, okay, out again. Like my thing is, will they back him? Because he will cook. Maresca will cook. Don't get it wrong. And with the players that they are linked to right now, if those guys come in, and he's given the time to shape the team the way he wants, the guy will cook.
Yeah,
in a season and maybe 2 seasons, like not this season, but by next season, they just have to give him that time. If they want to see this work, they have to give him that time. They can't keep doing what they're doing. If they keep doing what they're doing, it's unstable. It's unstable because he's the players they're going to bring in now. Let's say they bring in Olise. They bring in Olise under Maresca, and then maybe things don't work out. Maybe there's an injury with Olise. He doesn't play too much. Season ends. They're upset. They fire Maresca. They bring in another coach. He doesn't want Olise. He wants somebody else. It's too they have to. This is where they have to literally back this dude and give him time. They don't have an option at this stage. That would be my advice personally, because if you keep chopping and changing, it won't make any sense eventually, because you're going to have a bunch of players that are recommended to a bunch of other managers, and then you not finally bring one manager who doesn't want all those guys, and it's like, okay, can I get a couple of players that I would like, this profile because I will play this way, and it's so they just have to back him, and I hope they do, for the sake of football as well. I hope they back him. Because it's not going to be competitive anymore if every club is just being run crazy and stupid. It's just, it will just turn into a thing where it's just either going to just be Man City, Arsenal, and maybe Liverpool just continues. Like it'll be competitive if they run it properly because they've got talent in Chelsea. They've got mad talent in Chelsea.
Top four, man. Top four. I'm
calling what you saying, Jay? We're just talking on Chelsea, and obviously Olise is out of Man United and Chelsea to get his signature this summer, and maybe the front runner could be Chelsea at this moment of time. Man United could be worried, might pursue things. They've been pursuing this guy for a year, same as Chelsea, to be fair. They wanted them last year, they didn't grab him. What do you think of that? How do you feel if Olise went to Chelsea? Like, what do you actually believe that how that would look?
See, the thing is, I've had my fun with Chelsea. You know what I mean? I've enjoyed the last 2 seasons. You know what I mean? The thing about takes and agendas and theories and logic is that it's important to know when to get off the bus. Do you know what I mean? And I think my stop's here with regards to dogging on Chelsea, because at the end of the day, they have a squad with a lot of quality, and the players are young. So in theory, they're going to incrementally improve, and it's not even going to be linear. So some of them might improve a lot, some of them might improve a bit. Most of them, even if they keep their base level, So you bring in Maresca and you have a manager who's got a defined style of play, and this will help the transfer team, because the transfer team is now able to say, listen, we know you play like this. We think this player will work for you because of this. What do you think? Yeah. And I think that will work for modern clubs. And Chelsea are what Chelsea are doing isn't very different to what Liverpool are doing. Like the structures are quite similar. The approach of separating the coach to do the coaching and the data and the transfer and the scouts to do the buying of the player. I don't know what the gradient is on manager input with regards to the final decision at both clubs. I don't know whether it's manager has a final say, put it together. Maybe the data may just give them the chances. So the thing with Chelsea is moving forward is like, these are good players and you've got a good manager. So, I mean, logic dictates that this should work. And if they're bringing in people like Sesko, Olise, like these are high quality players, that they're bringing into this project that to an extent underperformed last season with a more defined style of play, with a manager they rate more. I'm a logical guy. Like people might think I'm a logical guy. Logic dictates that Chelsea should be good next season and they're on an upward trajectory. And I can't really, I can't really shit on them at this point in time. I'm just, I will be there if they mess up even an iota next season. But as of this moment, that's what I was saying. I was like, for me, they should just set their realistic goals for this season, knowing that it's a new manager. They've got the talent. They're bringing in more talent. They look like they're going to cook. Chelsea, look, if we're talking football, take off my Arsenal fan hat. I don't want to diss anybody's club. Let me just talk about the football and the quality of the players that Chelsea have. If they blend that team, if that team clicks, if that Chelsea squad clicks, we're in trouble. The league is in trouble. You can tell. Just take Kopama. They have Olise. They bring in Madrid. Like if these guys click, there's going to be a lot of trouble. The thing is, I'm saying like they need to set realistic goals, not only as fans but as management, to say, look, this season Maresca. This season Maresca. We're not because here's the thing, like because of that's what worries me about them. Like they will set this unrealistic goals for these kids and the coach, right? And they'll be like, if you don't get fourth and if you don't win a trophy, then out, and that's where I'm like, guys, you have too much talent to just be chopping and changing, But if you chop and change, it's good for me. Okay, that means you want to start the project again. I can dunk on you. But if you don't chop and change and you back this guy for at least 2 seasons, isn't that the logic though? Doesn't the logic dictate that look at the players that we've got? Yeah. And if you're the manager we think you are, so one of the 2 things has got to be incorrect. Either these players that we've purchased are not good enough or the manager is not good enough. Now, they've gambled a couple of times before that it's the manager and not the structure and the approach. Now we've got to this point now, and to be fair to this team, that is a 200 million pound midfield. Do you know what I mean? These are 40, 50 million pound attackers. These are 40 million pound defenders. Like at a certain point, these players who the data has said are next up and are quality, they've got to put it together. And the board and the transfer committee, I think, are looking at some of this and saying, listen, because if it is the players, then there's difficult questions that are being asked of the Winstanleys and those people who are doing their job of what is the caliber of players that you're bringing in. Because the best thing about a project, if I'm a director of football, is you ain't going to judge me for a few years, because I can always dine out on these players' potential. Yeah. So that's the whole point. I can always kick the can down the road. So the director of football, he's not under the bus. The managers are under the bus, and the managers aren't picking the players. So it gets to a certain point where the players that you've picked, we have to pay the piper. So I think it's very important for Chelsea that the manager delivers on the players, because they believe in these players. That's the whole point. The underlying point that I'm getting from this project is that they really believe in their process. They really believe that this approach that they're going to do is going to work, and the manager is going to carry a certain level of weight, maybe an unfair level of weight, based on how much control they've got. But the game's the game.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's the game. But watch this space for Chelsea. Guys, 300 of you in here. Make sure you smash the like button. We're like less than 10, I think like 5 maybe off of 100 likes. So make sure we get that to that if you do not mind. But moving on to that is that's the main kind of conversation a little bit is Batman Sesko, who's also linked with Chelsea, bear in mind. But with the Arsenal thing, the only thing we can go off of that is what John Cross-Mirror has said. And I'm not going to go off on what he has said. It's more like, is Sesko the right fit for Arsenal? Is he the right profile for Arsenal? And see what you guys have to say. Most people already know what I have to say, but I need to hear it from the horse's mouth first. Like Sesko, young prospect, 20 years old, 14 goals this season overall. Got an assist. His profile, he's very, very tall. He's very rapid as well, which is decent. It's just... there's a lot to his game and a lot more to improve on. But would you not be happy with him being the guy that rotates maybe with Havertz and sometimes on the left wing?
I mean, me personally, like I want Gyökeres in it. Like Gyökeres is my guy and he's my top guy. But Sesko, I take him. Like he's a profile that suits what we need. We need someone who's fast, got pace, we're severely lacking pace in our front line. He's someone who's good in the air, and Arsenal are known for their set pieces. Like we scored the most set pieces this season. So he definitely fits. He's young, he fits what we're trying to do. I don't know too much about him on a cultural level. I don't know how he will mesh with the group, but I'm assuming that that's something that, Arteta and, all of the recruitment staff are looking into. And look, I'm at the point now with the Arsenal project where if Arsenal feel that a player is the right player for Arsenal, then it's the right player for Arsenal. And then I'll see what happens when he gets on the pitch. But rotating with Havertz, I know a lot of fans are going to get triggered, but I don't see the problem with it. Man that know me know that I'm a big Havertz fan anyway. And if he can add, a few more goals to our front line, in the absence of someone like Havertz, then it's all great, right? And I've seen I ain't seen too much of him. I won't lie. I ain't seen too much of him. But what I have seen from him, he does look good. He's definitely good enough to be a rotational option. I don't know if he's good enough yet to be like, okay, the guy that leads the line. But as a rotational option, I'm not sure how many other players out there in the world in his position that would be willing to come to Arsenal as a rotational option. So I don't know what man are complaining about, really and truly. I don't know what man. And you know what? The same man that are complaining, are the same man that complained about Havertz numbers when he came to Arsenal, and then look what happened. So man, trust.
That's another thing. I can start from there and just talk about how certain players that Arsenal have bought in the past, people are like, they're not going to work. Like the Ben White, 50 million. oh my God, how can you pay 50 million for Ben White? Ramsdale at the time for us, you know, you paid 30 million for Ramsdale from a club that has been relegated. Oh, you bought Real Madrid reject Odegaard, you know, you can the list goes on and on. Oh, you bought Kai Havertz, he's not going to, you know, he's not going to work. And then I hear people talk about his age. I hear them talk about, and I'm like, look, when we bought Nicolas Anelka for 550 grand, right, from PSG, he was 19 years old, and we went on to win the league. Anelka was 19, he led the Lions, and we went on to win the league. So for me, it's not about age; it's about, does this profile fit? If Sesko is scoring 13 goals in 16 starts, right? 13 goals in 16 starts in a team where he's not getting a lot of ball fed to him, a lot of chances are not being created for him. What do you think he can do in a team where chances are created for him? Now, let me preface this by saying Isak is who I want. If I wanted to go for a striker, I would go for Isak. But here's where my problem is. Newcastle wants us to break the bank to get Isak. And Isak's injury records is not the best. So for me, if I have to go pay 120 or 130 million pounds to get a player who then only plays, you know, 15 to 20 games because of his lingering thigh and knee injury that he keeps on getting, and that means I've spent majority of my budget in the summer on one player. I don't have a lot of depth in my team anymore like I would have had. I would rather go and get three, four level raisers at good enough level raisers, because the truth is we're literally one game away from winning the league this year. That's all it took for us to win one game. That's all it took. Win one game and we would have won the league. So we bottled it by not winning that one game. And I don't think that me spending 150 million, Isak's job is to come and win me just that one game. Like, it doesn't, if he gets injured and he's not able to play and I still don't win that game, what happens? So I'd rather get level raisers where I know that, like for like, if Havertz is not kicking in and I bring in another striker who kicks in because Jesus is injured or something, you know, or because if Bukayo Saka is tired after 10 games, I can bring in Gabi Jesus on that side, on the right side. On the left, we have cover already. So for me, I think of all the four strikers, I want Isak. Then Gyökeres is my second one, right? Sesko is the last on my list because I think he's raw and I think he's young. But I've also watched his games and I feel like I can trust the training at Arsenal after seeing what they've done with other players who we wrote off as well. We wrote them off, but then it turns out that there's something that they're doing right there, you know, for them to be able to click that way. So I think if that's who Arsenal wants to go for, they just have to make it work. And I think we can make it work. We've made a lot of players work, that we did not think would work, you know. So.
You know what it is for me, yeah. And maybe Jay might align with me in this part. And this is not me slandering Arsenal or anything like that. Like, this is just my wholesome opinion, right? Is that, yes, you have gambled, and yes, a gamble has paid off, right? But at what point do you look at yourselves and think, like, why am I gambling anymore? You know, you are second place. Why do you always have to go and buy a gamble or a potential place? And I think this is where some Arsenal fans are quite irritated at something like a Sesko. In a way, and Sesko, by no means, I don't mean he's going to be shit or write-off or anything like that. But at the end of the day, we don't know because he's not Premier League proven, and he's very, very young, right? At this for a striker. My issue is like, you've got an Ivan Toney there, Premier League proven, who's going to get you definite goals, right? Isaac is there, and yes, you said break the bank, and credit to that. But that's what you do as a top club. Like my position, Jay, right, with Arsenal is, do you want to win now, or do you just want to keep building players all the time? But then again, Deo's obviously got a good, fair argument, said profile. So it's all about the profile, and then not the name. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think you raise a pretty good point. If you look at it like on a broader and kind of zoom out, I think the idea is you want to buy players that go into the team and improve the quality of the team. That's what you want, right? Now, how that happens, it doesn't have to be linear. It can be like up and down. So first of all, you look at it from a base level. And I would be like, okay, Sesko comes into the squad and Ketia leaves the squad. Yeah. Let's say the rest of the attack stays the same, and that's the only change. Yeah. Their attack has improved. Do you see what I mean? So on a base level, their attack has improved if you look at it like that. I think there's a modern kind of center forward, which is a mobile target man, like this rangy mobile target man. and then they all have variations of skills. Like you got a Gyökeres, you've got a
Tony,
Sesko, you've got a Tony, you've got like a Wonyi, you got the Matetas, these are all somewhat similar types of strikers, but they have different skill sets. But they're all mobile target men. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So that's the modern approach now. So for me, Arsenal could buy. Go man.
Even Haaland.
Haaland. That's what I'm saying. Haaland, they're all variations. So for me, Arsenal don't necessarily have to buy Osimhen, who's another variation of it, or a Gyökeres. They could buy a Sesko if they're looking and saying, Jesus, Havertz, Sesko, that's enough for us to win the league. And I look at it like I think Sesko is one of the best strikers on the market because of value for money.
45 million, I think, right? That something like that.
Yeah, around that. Because if you're going to spend 100 million, like I don't think Arsenal have any issue spending that money if they were absolutely certain that the player that they were bringing in was the absolute right player and the characteristics and skills they've got that add to this team are going to push them over the top. I think they pay. No, but go ahead.
Now, Joe, the thing is, just on that, the reason why I think Arsenal are prioritizing someone like Sesko is because earlier on, it was said that Arsenal are looking for only one ceiling raiser and everyone else is going to be a floor raiser. So I think Arsenal have just.
Who said that?
It came out. I think it was Arteta. It came
out. A bunch of people have talked about it. Even I think Fabrizio had mentioned something about Arsenal wants to get one marquee signing. And then a couple more.
So the eight then.
Yeah. So Guimaraes. No, so Bruno Guimaraes, I think, is who Arsenal is going to go for at Newcastle. I think they would rather pay premium for him, right? Get him in the team because if Partey leaves, there's rumors. Zinchenko, there's rumors of Bayern right now. You know, so if Zinchenko leaves, we don't have that inversion anymore. We're literally going to have a left back, which is going to be Timber. He can invert, which is great, but we've only seen him in 2 games, and I don't want to, until I see him this season play, and hopefully he's not injured. I think we're going to spend big in that midfield to show up the midfield, right? Have an alternative striker who is better than Nketiah, who, of course, whenever we're not scoring, if he comes in, guaranteed. Remember how we improved in set pieces. Now we have a 6'4" player that can score with his head very well. If we bring that guy in games over, just like, you know what, hey, get a foul, get a set piece there, and you drill this in training.
You're not allowed to get Bruno Guimaraes, I've decided. The same way Olise can't go Chelsea. Same way Mbeumo can't go Liverpool. It's just not allowed, bro. That's disgusting. That midfield is horrible, man. Look. Hey, someone's listening to me. Someone is listening to me today. Yeah. I'm not, no kidding. He wants to say he's back.
Yeah, sorry, joke. I pulled my cable.
Yeah, man. I was just saying, not allowed to get Bruno Guimaraes. I swear down, like, and the same thing with City. Like, I know they got tabs on him too, so you might be having another tussle of who can go and grab him. But
yeah, we'll win that battle.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
We won the Declan Rice battle.
Yeah, we'll win that battle.
Yeah, but I think that was a lot easier due to the fact that he was already a London boy as well at the same time.
Yeah, but still, we won it regardless. The bottom line is we won that target battle. So we might. And guess what? Bruno might not want to. He might want to become a London boy too. Bruno is like, I want to leave Newcastle.
Might not want to be a robot. Might not want to be a robot either.
Yeah, but like that's where I think Arsenal is going to spend money. I think we're really going to spend money in the midfield because we want Declan to be that 8. And we bring in Bruno. If we have
actually, you could have either, innit? Declan, Bruno. It wouldn't really matter.
Like if we have Declan, Bruno, and Odegaard in midfield, and then up front,
the double pivot would be crazy.
Like up front, you have Saka, you have Martinelli, and if you can either have Havertz or you can have Sesko. Like you're guaranteed to. I mean, the XGs on all of these guys are what 14, 15, 16, 17, right? All of them, they're like closer to the 20 side than anything else. Sorry, the GA on them is closer to 20. So if all your attackers are closer to 20 GA and all 5 of them can give you right around that a season, plus or minus what you get from set pieces, plus or minus what you might get from penalties. I mean, we scored 91 goals. We scored 91 goals last season, right? 91 goals last season. So the goals were not the problem. It was the fact that there were games where we just needed that guy. We just needed that guy to just win that game, and we didn't have that guy. I'm not saying Sesko is, but if you show up the midfield with a Guimaraes, like,
But then getting Sesko doesn't actually rule Arsenal out from going and getting an Osimhen or or Hijack? Because
I would say it does. You know what? I think you
it's
might.
going to be way too much.
Depend on Jesus. You might kind of look at maybe there might be some room for the right wing option as well. Because let's face it, how much is Bruno Guimaraes going to cost? I've heard both clubs don't want to pay 100 million. So
it's 80 starting once it's June, once the window opens, the 100 million was his release clause for this year. Like once what's the word? Once we get to June, it's going to become 80 million for his release clause for Champions League teams, and then for teams that are not Champions League teams, they pay more. I think something like that. That's what I read. Something random like that.
That's a mad one. If that is the case, I thought the release clause was 100 million until the end of June, regardless.
Well, no, it switches to 80.
So it switches to 80 for Champions League opposition. So both of you could have 80 million. That definitely means that it will be up to him and obviously up to the clubs to be deciding which one out of Man City and Arsenal. Let's be real, it is going to be Manchester City and Arsenal. If you nick another target of Manchester City's, boy, that's a big statement as well at the same time. You know, London might be his preference at the end of the day. You might want to go to somewhere like London, but I'm pretty sure it was 100 million till the end of July. I know June, and then it becomes like whoever's game, whatever Newcastle want to accept. So I'm not too sure on.
Yeah, I mean, if not for this packet, if not for this Paquetá nonsense, I would have just said, look, they should focus on Paquetá, because I know they won't do that now. Like, if not for all this nonsense, Paquetá should just be going to City. I don't care. Give us Bruno Guimaraes and let's get another striker. We spent big in the midfield. We get a striker that we know at least can bag us, 20 goals a season, or coupled with Havertz that we have and everybody else that we have right now. Give me somebody to cover for what's his name, Saliba as well, and I'm good to go. If Partey is staying, that's going to be a different topic entirely about Bruno Guimaraes, and it's going to be a different topic about a midfielder. Which means if Thomas Partey is staying, then maybe Arsenal can then be like, you know what, forget it. Let's just get Isak for 120.
But why would you can't rely on Partey though?
I'm not saying
and all that kind of stuff.
I agree with you. We can't rely on him. But what I'm saying is, in that role, we then have Partey, Jorginho, which of course are subs in the sixth role for us as a CDM. But we also then have Declan Rice. So that place is stacked, is what I'm saying. So if we don't get a Bruno Guimaraes, we at least know. We saw the Partey, Odegaard, and the Rice midfield the last end of the season. We saw how more compact it was. So if Partey is staying, that means there's no point getting Bruno Guimaraes, because why spend that 80 million, trigger that? Why don't just take that 80 million and then the 45 or the 50 you wanted to pay for Sesko, take that 130 and throw it at Isak and just bring Isak in. That's what I would do. Bring Isak in, and then I'd get rid of Nketiah, and Isak becomes my top striker, and Havertz becomes my second striker. That's it.
Yeah,
because my big fear with Sesko is he's played in a 4-4-2 all his life. He's always played in a 4-4-2 system. Every club he's played in the 4. He's always played with a second striker up front with him. Will he be able to play the Arsenal style if he comes?
Yeah.
That's another question to be answered, isn't it? What do you think, Jay? Have you seen much of Sesko? Be honest. Have you seen much of him to know? You're on mute, by the way.
I've seen little bits of him, like enough to verify, like, from an eye test point of view, he's obviously got potential. He obviously looks like a decent player. You can also look at like some of the goals he scored, like finishing guys, like both footed, all types of finishes, left foot, right foot, headers, all sorts of distances. It's a lot of versatility for a young striker. So, like, the way I look at it is, it's not a coincidence that you're looking at Chelsea in for him. You're looking at Arsenal maybe in for him. Like top sides are looking at him. Top sides with very good scouts are saying, yeah, there's something about him. So, I think he's, like I said, you become a very good signing because of the value in the market too. Like, the market's very difficult for strikers because you almost have to gamble on the striker before they make it. Because if they make it, it's already too late.
Double the price.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, if the striker makes it, like, go ask Aston Villa for Ollie Watkins. There's no way they won't. There's no way they don't say 100 million minimum. There's no way. Yeah. So the thing is that you've got to try and get Ollie Watkins before he becomes Ollie Watkins, and that's why, to me, Sesko is such a good signing, because he's arguably one of the next up people, but his price tag does not truly reflect that yet. it's not a bargain, but it's
do you reckon he's just one of those players? It's like he's 45 million. If we don't get him now, we're not going to get him at all. Like, that's it. And it's going to be too much of a bargain hunt. There's going to be too many clubs coming in for him if he does end up becoming where he's meant to become.
I think he's considerably more proven than Højlund, and Højlund went for more money last season.
Well, let's see if he can get 10 Premier League goals Let's see. I'm just saying this. You already triggered me right now. Let's just see. Let's just see if we get.
I'm not commenting on
Kaz. For me to agree with Jay.
For me to agree, he's more proven than Højlund was.
For me to agree with Jay, Kaz, you know that's the problem. For me to actually agree with something that Jay said, that's the problem.
I'm just saying, yeah. What I think one, if I'm correct, they got around the same amount of goals, and one was in a good Leipzig side, and one was in a fucking shit Man United side that was starving. Without
no. So remember, Kaz Sesko did not play in the first half of the season because of they had another striker, right? He played 16. He had 16 starts. Of course, he played 30-something games all throughout. But that's 30-something appearances, but 16 starts, 13 goals in 16 starts. He scored in the last 7 games. He scored in the last 7 games that he played in of the season.
But you're not even wrong.
And in fact, let me see.
That's disgusting. Well, he played. No, I can't even lie. 40 goals in 1,500 minutes in the Bundesliga. That's impressive, boy.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So like, he's there's something that I just don't know.
Let's try. And you know what's funny? Let's try to convert that into Premier League goals from Bundesliga. Let's see what we can do there. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I think.
And again, Højlund only played 500 more minutes. Yeah, but again,
his style of play as well will work well for him in the Premier League.
Bundesliga tax. That's all I'm gonna say. Bundesliga tax.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what they're asking for right now is not a ridiculous amount. So it's not really like, so it's like you're like, all right, cool.
And a release clause.
Yeah, if you can get this guy to tick, like we got Havertz to tick at Arsenal. Like literally, this kid is raw. I've got
something for you, because if Chelsea are not planning for Osimhen, right, but Maresca liked it in behind striker, right? Whether it was Jack, what's his name? Is it Patson Daka? I think his name is, and also like a Jamie Vardy. So he likes someone that runs in behind. From what we know, who says that Chelsea won't come in from him and try to release that? Do you reckon he's picking Arsenal over Chelsea instantaneously?
I'm not sure.
Or do you reckon
did you watch his interview? He had an interview. I saw the video. I watched the interview, and they said, "Oh, would you like to play in England?" And he said, "Yes, that I'd like to play in England. And that's always been my dream." And they're like, "Oh, you've heard the rumors that Arsenal want to come for you." He said, "Yeah, if Arsenal comes for me, I'll be happy to go to Arsenal because I've always wanted to play for them." Now, I'm not holding that to say that the players agree to anything, and I don't hold that with any water. And I'll tell you why. We saw Mudryk do this last season, where he twerked for Arsenal, and in the last minute, he decided to go to Chelsea. I'm just saying, like, based on that video, that came out of him.
But the thing is, but the argument I'll make for Chelsea, and like I said, I'm trying to be fair to Chelsea going into the new season, is that they're pushing themselves as the #1 youth project. Do you know what I mean? And they're trying to gather all of the best young players like Infinity Stones. Yeah, exactly. So the point is that if you're a player and you're basically saying this is where all the best young players in Europe are playing, like aside from Real Madrid, like this is the collection. Like from 16 to 21, we're bringing the top guys. And I think if you then say to Sesko, you're gonna be our number 9 at Chelsea say, yeah, you're gonna be the guy. Like here, we're gonna you and Jackson, we're gonna rotate, but Jackson will play off the left too, but we have a lot of faith in you to be the 9. Whereas you go to Arsenal and it's almost like you're going to be one of 3 options of Havertz, Jesus, and you. Then I can see, all things being considered, maybe Chelsea can sprinkle a little bit of money on top. But I don't think that these kind of players have got relationships with clubs. Clubs have been working on their transfer deals for a while now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've been talking to these players. So I don't know how far or how deep either club goes for the player. So You know, I don't know enough about if he's got a preference, whether or not, because they also said Leipzig have put a new contract down as well for him to stay one more year and then move next season.
Yeah, I saw that too.
With a full season under his belt, playing as a number 9. Now, who's to say that he doesn't say that's the best development for me over the next 12 months?
Yeah, maybe that could be the case as well. Big up for the super chat here from Io said, did you see Partey versus Everton United with a laughing face?
I see what I see. I saw that.
Partey's declining and can't rely on Jorginho.
Okay, Ayo, let me clarify what I said again. What I said, I'm not saying we have to rely on them. I said I would rather get Guimaraes, right? I would spend big on Guimaraes. If you heard me earlier, that's what I said. I said, but if Partey doesn't leave, and we've already signed Jorginho to another 1-year contract, that position is literally packed. Me bringing Guimaraes for big money and then sitting those two on the bench on big salaries doesn't make any sense. So if they're going to stay, I'm going to have to play them. Then I would rather spend that money on Hijack. I would take the Guimaraes money. I will add whatever I wanted to get with Sesko, and I'll just go to Newcastle and say, give me Hijack for 135 million, and let's just get this done. I'm not interested in any talks. And I believe that if Hijack hears that, he will push for a move. If he hears that they're valuing him at 130. So what I'm saying is, if we can get rid of Thomas Partey, then I'll bring in Guimaraes for 80 or 100. Then I will go for Sesko. So that way, I'm bringing in at least, a ceiling raiser and a level raiser. That's all I said. So yes, I saw Partey and I saw that he's not the same Partey, but I'm saying regardless, if he's still there, what do? You don't pack your team full of the same position and pay salaries out and not play the players.
Yeah, you're right.
But I can see Partey going and Arsenal just bringing in like Zubimendi and Bruno.
Not impossible.
And that's Arsenal's midfield bless for like the next 4 or 5 years.
By the way, apparently what Sesko there said was fake. And Solomon says, speaking in October, Sesko also dropped a small hint about potential move in England in the future. I'm not thinking about where I want to go next. He said, I don't have a favorite club to be. So apparently that quote you said as well, that was apparently
it's here.
Fake.
This is what it says. Benjamin Sesko says yes to Arsenal transfer this summer. As Gunners line up 45 million for RB Leipzig side and Mikel Arteta. This is from the Daily Mail. That's from the Daily Mail. It says Benjamin Sesko says yes to Arsenal's transfer this summer. This is from the Daily Mail. This is not what I saw a video clip where they were interviewing him, but the person, the sub thing said he didn't say, "Oh, I'm coming to Arsenal." That's not what I said. He said, "I would love to play in England." Then they asked him, "Have you heard the rumors that Arsenal is coming for?" He said, "If Arsenal comes, good, cool."
I know, man. Daily Mail is suspect newspaper or news outlet. Let's put it like that.
Well,
Daily Mail is a bit of a. The only one that's actually kind of that's decent over there is like Mike Keegan from there or someone like that. But yeah, look, moving on a little bit from the Arsenal talk and stuff like that. There's one which I don't know about you guys, yeah, but if something screams Liverpool signing, Mbeumo is that's a proper Liverpool signing. Especially Michael Edwards, someone that's got proven. Like, he's got a good... The thing is, he came back from mad injury and still got 9 goals and like 6 assists or something stupid like that as he come up in a Brentford side, bearing in mind. Playing up front, not even in his favourite position. He's playing more next to Vissa, right? And even Vissa benefited off of him. I can see this being a really good signing for them if they do get him. I don't think he's a Salah replacement in total, but I do believe they need someone else that can play off the right. And also maybe start as their right winger, because you might be next season we might see Salah start up top. Yeah. He might be the guy that goes up top and be their striker, so they don't need to think about it for another season at least. But I think in Mbeumo, I'm not joking. Yeah,
smart signing.
They're talking about 40, 50 million max, but it looks like he's around that kind of market price. And I'm surprised someone like Tottenham isn't in for him exactly when they got Kulishevsky over there. Yeah, Mbeumo. I don't know why you don't.
Mbeumo's quality. Like I was explaining this to
wicked player, man.
I was trying to explain the merits of taking Mbeumo over Kudus because obviously Kudus is a very good player, but I think Mbeumo's stats and how if you haven't actually watched Mbeumo play, first of all, people think he's older than he is. Because he looks older. He's only 24 now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
he needs to shave that beard.
24.
He needs to shave that beard.
Yeah,
So
dude, 24.
for me, when people talk about Kudus and Mbeumo, like they've got different characteristics, but the one thing I like about Mbeumo is he's a very good finisher.
Yeah.
Like he's got a shot on him.
Yeah.
He can go both ways on a player. He's got pace.
Oh, and you see his back post crossing is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's got great touch. And also the one thing is he's played in a weaker team than West Ham.
I agree.
He's got more output. Last season, you know, he's been without Rico Henry, he's been without Tony, quite a few injuries in the Brentford team. So the way I look at Mbeumo is that he's one of those players. He's ready to explode. He's a player. It's like whoever buys him is basically buying kind of like when Liverpool bought Jota from Wolves. That specific level of player, that level of output, that kind of, and if you can get him for 50 million, if like Newcastle, if Newcastle get him, that's a big problem.
I saw Newcastle linked him as well.
Because if Newcastle,
my God, can you imagine? Gordon,
Isak, and Mbeumo.
Even Harvey Barnes.
Oh my God!
The way they play it, they'll be the best transitional team in the league at this point.
Listen, I'm just saying, like, because obviously Isak with his touch and his abilities, but that's honestly, it's like. And Mbeumo is, to me, very Jota-like. I think he's for the impact that he could have for a team, and for the amount of money that he costs. Like I think there's a number. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
He's a hard worker. He's great at pressing as well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Such a Michael Edwards type of
player.
Like,
if Liverpool don't get him or they're not that interested in
someone
him,
will grab him.
Then Arsenal could look at him as an alternative to Saka. Villa.
I can see him in an Arsenal shirt as well. That's the thing.
Villa could look at him.
Maybe it's a bid.
I think for me, Newcastle. Like if I'm Newcastle, I'm putting like I know Newcastle kind of like.
I'd be going in doggy raw for that, brother. Like,
I think if I'm Newcastle, I'm going all in for him. I would like him at Spurs. I think
Spurs. He'd be a good signing for Spurs.
He's not. I personally would like
Maddison feeding him. Mad.
I prefer like someone like a Rafinha, but
I think Rafinha's too weak. Like off the ball, I'm thinking off the ball. Yeah, like I think Rafinha's a good worker, but he never needed to. In the lead side, he needed to work. I mean, and Mbeumo in that side, like I think it's just his balance off the ball. You know, when you can cover defender off the ball, he's that sort of guy. Like he's big, you know. He's like someone said it. He's kind of like Shaqiri, like as well. Kind of like Shaqiri, but Shaqiri's way more techie. Don't get me wrong. But he's got
and he could also play as a 9 as well. Like you know what? I think, he's definitely maybe I'm understating how much Brentford might ask for him, but I think anything less than 60 million.
And 2 years left on his deal, by the way.
2 years left. 2 years left on his deal. I think they consider 50.
Yeah. So
I think they do, and he's got an option for a further year, but that's an option he has to agree, which he doesn't need to agree. And I'm looking at it like this year. So Arne Slot, like I was gonna make a video on this, and I'll probably go more in depth about it as well. Like, so I looked into the way Arne Slot kind of really does like to play, and he's got this 4-3-3/4-2-3-1, can sometimes look like a 4-4-1-1, and I wouldn't be surprised to sometimes see even if he does start on the right hand side, if he was to go to Liverpool, at the same time, if what kind of midfielder they got, they can shift. Like even Curtis Jones can go over to the wing if need be. Trent Alexander-Arnold can shift up to the right wing, right midfield if he needs to. It depends how they want to change up the system. But I look at it like you can sometimes might even see Salah in the 10 and Mbeumo feeding off of a Salah. Do you know what I mean? So you can even see that sort of option like transition in game, and that's why I say when it comes to that system, it looks like such a Arne Slot type of player, in my opinion. But remember, we got Slot's players. Of course, they have the techie man that's over in final. But we have to talk about who can do it in the Prem. You can't just have twinkle toes. You got to be a bit more. Got to have a bit more about yourself. So, yeah, man, I think Mbeumo it would be serious, and even Kudus. Like you see him even report with Kudus, but does anyone actually do you actually believe Kudus goes anywhere this summer? Because I don't see it, because his release clause doesn't actually activate until next summer.
And I think even if anybody wants to get him now, I don't see West Ham asking for anything less than 80 at the base, like at the minimum. And yeah, Kudus is good. Yeah, I don't. Where can he go?
I'm telling you now, yeah. I'm telling you lot now. This is why I hate Michael Edwards, yeah, and he needs to piss off, yeah. They'll get Mbeumo. And guess when Salah goes, guess who's going to be the one that goes in that false 9 position? Like, run it back 4-3-3. The one that Michael Edwards like to set out for Klopp to go and play. It'll be Kudus. He'll be in the false 9 and Mbeumo feeding off him, and they'll have someone on the left. Eventually, they might get, it could be some of it, it could be anyone. We don't know yet. But they'll have that disgusting front three that just work hard and they just don't stop pressing. They got a hard worker in Brentford, then we get a hard worker who plays for West Ham. Bro, this man is a fucking cheat code. I'm telling you now, Michael Edwards is a cheat code. And he's going to get a DM. They're going to get himself a DM that can cover bare ground. That's why I'm looking at people like Edison. That's why I'm looking at people like Yusuf Fofana and all them players there. It's just like, this guy is a prick and he needs to piss off on the Prem. He's like Pep a little bit. Just go away. Just go away.
It's crazy though. It's crazy. Like, I just feel like this window, if all the links that we're seeing are true, next season is going to be fire, man. Like if
lots of players available, man.
If Olise goes to Chelsea and even Mbeumo goes to Liverpool,
I'm just Man United. Like, where's Man United in this kind of conversation?
Kudos to Man United. Give
me some hope, man.
No, seriously, I'm like, for me, like, honestly speaking, as much, let me just, I don't want to banter. I want to, like, as much as I want Arsenal to win a trophy, I also want a good game. I hate games when I watch it and it's just like, it's almost like the other team rolled over because the players are not good enough. Like, I want it to be competitive. So when I win, I'm like, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I beat this team even with this player in it. Like, that's the kind of bragging rights that I like, But I think most teams should do good business. Arsenal, we need somebody in the midfield. Definitely. We need a backup for Bukayo Saka. And this is something else I'll say. And I said, look,
where does Nweri or where's
Omaneri? He might get a chance from what I
saw that he's going into the first team setup.
I hear he's coming to first team. And but here's something I wanted to say. I was going to say, look, we might not even need to go for a striker that is down the middle, like down the line. If we go for a Rafa Leao, I don't mind. If Bukayo Saka wants to prove his worth, then go toe to toe with this man.
Leao left though.
Yeah. Left. Yeah, sorry. Martin, whoever needs to go. Like, we get somebody who can give us that, that output there, and then get somebody in the midfield. If Kai Havertz can keep up with the same GA that he gave us this season, and you bring in someone like a Rafa Leao to add to that GA, and then then have a Bukayo Saka.
Can I ask a little something else as well? Like, I like the front three and everything, but I think of game changes, and obviously you've been linked with Marcus Rashford as well. Like, do you feel like the left side also potentially might need sorting out? Would you give Martinelli another year?
I'll give Martinelli another year. He just had a bad year. I think he had a bad year.
It's too early to write this guy off because we can't just deny, like, the season before he was cooking.
Yeah, 15 goals in the season before, and the season before, like, I mean, he did very well. This season, it's been and I'm glad we had Trossard to cover for him. But you remember at the beginning of the season, there was already talks of him with some. They said he had something with his knee, and he was out for like the first couple. No, he was out for a few games. First half of the season. By the time he came back, he wasn't himself, and we had changed the entire left side. Arteta was messing around, putting Havertz in that 8 role. Havertz and Martinelli were not clicking. We need somebody there that can release Martinelli, which is why if we get a Bruno Guimaraes and we release Declan Rice in that 8 role, Martinelli would be able to drive in like from that left. And he's a good finisher. He's a good finisher.
I'm an opportunist. If you're telling me that Rashford is available and Rashford wants to come to Arsenal and we don't have to pay an arm and a leg on his wages, bring him in, man. I would love to see that
100 million minimum.
Nah, man. No, we get a quick 60 M.
Yeah, you think we'd ever accept that?
Quick 60 M.
We're never accepting. Like, to be fair, but I wouldn't accept it, let alone Man United.
Hold on, but what about what if we did this?
No.
Kaz, let me give you this, right? 80. No, I'll say 70 and ML Smith Rowe.
No.
I'll give you Smith Rowe, and I'll 75 plus bonus is 5 million, 80 plus Smith Rowe.
No, 100, bro. To a rival like Arsenal and that. Remember, we take. Remember, do you remember how this goes?
See that? Look at this guy.
We take your players, not the other way around, yeah. So if you're trying to take one of our,
but I'm giving you,
assets,
I'm giving you a player in return as well. I'm giving you one of my.
That's dusty, man. That's garbage, bro.
Okay, I'll give you Gabby Jesus.
I'll take that.
Gabby Jesus on 60.
70.
60.
40 and Gabby
70. No, 70.
I'll give you 60. I value Gabby. I value Gabby at 50.
How about this?
On 110.
I want, if it's 60 million, I want that in 2 installments personally, innit?
2 installments.
30.
So you can't amortize it all the way. I want cash.
Okay, fine. I'll do that. I'll do that, but no bonuses. I'll do 2 installments. 30. There'll be no what's it called? Clause like if we win.
Yeah, if you win a league, 10 million.
No, I'm not doing that. If I'm paying you in 2 installments, I'm not doing that part of it.
Look how easy life would be if we were in charge of our respective clubs as director of football. Negotiations, like. You know,
like, hey, listen, you want it in 2 installments, I will give you 2 installments. But if I win the league with Marcus Rashford, I'm not paying you a dime.
Yeah, the thing is, 2 installments is way more. You don't want 5 installments and waiting for all that money. That's
I'll go for 2 because we're in the Champions League. TV rights alone, we made.
I'll just go get the exact same player in Liao. Rashford.
I'll pay you in 2, and then at least I guarantee myself that Arteta can get a tune out of Rashford like he did with Havertz, and that is just going to be fire.
I don't know, man. I just feel like if it's actually on because it's hard to do player swap deals and all that kind of stuff. So if it was, I want 100 M's personally, minimum. So it's one of those. Yeah. Like someone else, like abroad, like PSG can have it for like 75 or 80, but Arsenal, 100 straight up. Especially when you've got 4 years left on his deal. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there. Big up to everyone. Make sure you smash the like button as well. This should go over to Coppish. Go rate them a little bit. I don't know if they're gonna be finishing yet, but they're a great channel. It is Liverpool content, but it's up to you if you decide you want to stay there and listen. Cal's a great guy, Drifty and Matt. So go over there. But yeah, big up to Deo as well. Big up to Jay for jumping in and halfway hooks as well. You should be on it. We'll be running potentially a Champions League instant match reaction with just Bear Man. So if you want to be going there, just wait for it. But in a bit, and we'll see you probably tomorrow.